All right, today we're diving into a piece of hardware with well, a pretty bold mission. It's called the Sovereign Sentry, and its whole promise is to help you finally own your digital world. You know, this quote, it really just cuts right to the heart of the whole thing, doesn't it? The cloud is someone else's computer, this is yours. It's such a stark reminder that anytime we're using the cloud, we're really just renting space on a server that belongs to someone else. So what if you could actually own the server? I mean, that's the big idea we're going to unpack today. And this is it. Officially, it's the Sovereign Sentry. But the folks who designed it, they call it the monolith. And you can kind of see why, right? It's this dense, silent block of industrial-grade computing. So the big questions are, what does this thing actually do? And why is it built to look so, I don't know, so permanent? Okay, so to really get what the Sentry is all about, we gotta talk about a problem that, honestly, most of us don't even think about. The fact that we're basically renting our digital lives. I mean, just think about it for a second. Your photos, your documents, the controls for your smart home, so much of our stuff lives on servers owned by these giant corporations. We've made this trade-off, right? We get all this convenience, but what we're giving up is a huge amount of privacy and actual control. It's like we've become tenants in our own digital homes. So that's where the Sovereign Sentry comes in. It's positioning itself as the solution, the way you go from being that digital tenant to being a digital owner. The source material has some pretty cool names for it, like a civilization in a box, or the digital hearth of your whole operation. The core idea is to take all the jobs of your router, a really powerful firewall, and a personal server, and cram them all into one single, super rugged unit that you, and only you, control. Okay, so what makes this box so special? Let's dig into the hardware. I mean, how is this thing actually put together? Right away, the first thing you're going to notice is the design. It's just this solid block of black anodized aluminum. And you see all those deep cooling vents? Yeah, that's not just for show. The entire chassis is the cooling system. It's literally built to be this silent, unmoving anchor for your whole digital life. And this thing is all about one thing: absolute reliability. We're talking zero moving parts, no fans that are going to suck in dust, get all clogged up, and then eventually, die on you. They even go so far as to upgrade the thermal material inside to this super high-end compound that actually changes phase with heat to yank it away from the processor. This thing is built to be tossed in a dusty barn or a hot utility closet and just run forever. And just so we're clear, this is not a toy. You get 4, count them, 4 Intel 2.5 gigabit Ethernet ports. Now you might be wondering, why does that even matter? Well, it lets you do professional level network segmentation. So you could have one port for your internet coming in, one for your super secure internal network, and maybe use another one to completely isolate those less trusted devices, like your smart cameras. Okay, let's peek under the hood at the specs. It's built around this really power-efficient Intel N100 quad-core processor, and that's paired with a solid 16 gigs of RAM and a whole terabyte of super-fast NVMe storage. So it's got plenty of muscle to do its job, but here's the kicker. It does it all without guzzling power. We're talking less than 10 watts when it's just idling. That's barely anything. And here's something really interesting, a little bit of transparency from the source documents. The total cost of all the parts, the bill of materials, to build one of these, it's only around $309. Now, when you compare that to its $699 retail price, you can really see the kind of value they're going for. But honestly, the real value isn't just the cool metal box, it's what's running inside it. All right, let's talk software. Because look, a powerful box is one thing, but what really makes this a civilization in a box is the software that comes preloaded. It's what the pros call a hyperconverged infrastructure. That's a fancy way of saying it's one piece of hardware that does the job of many, many different devices. So the Sentry runs 3 totally separate, completely isolated systems all at the same time. It does this using a technology called a hypervisor, which, just think of it like a digital traffic cop for virtual computers. And they call this setup the Trinity stack. You've got the gatekeeper, the ledger, and the sandbox, and each one has a very specific job to do. First up, you've got the gatekeeper. This isn't just some basic firewall. We're talking a full-blown enterprise-grade system. And here's the most important part.
This thing replaces that cheap plastic box your internet provider gave you. It handles your VPN, it blocks ads and trackers for your entire network, and it basically becomes your first and your strongest line of defense against all the junk out there.
Okay, next is the ledger. Now, this part gets a little more complex, but stick with me. The easiest way to think about it is like this. Your Sentry becomes a small, secure part of a much larger, decentralized network. So instead of one single company holding all the data, it gets broken up into tiny encrypted pieces and spread out across tons of devices just like this one. The ledger's job is just to help manage all those little pieces.
And last but definitely not least, we have the sandbox. And this is where you, the owner, really get to play. All the leftover system resources, they're yours to command. You can spin up your own services. Want to run Home Assistant and finally take back control of your smart home from some corporate cloud? Go for it. Want to set up a Plex server to manage your own movies and music? Done. This is where you truly, truly own your data.
So, okay, we've got this industrial-strength hardware and this super powerful trinity of software. But so what? What does this all actually mean for you day to day? What's the real-world impact of having this silent guardian sitting on your network?
I love this comparison. You see how simple it is to get going, basically a one-cable deployment, and then you see it in its natural habitat, right? Mounted on a utility board, just that single green light glowing, silently doing its job 24/7. It really does become that unmoving, reliable anchor for your entire network.
And that's where you start to see the real, tangible benefits. Like, for a farm office, this thing could secure a spotty satellite internet connection while also hosting critical files, like tractor manuals, right there on the device. So even if the internet goes out, the work doesn't stop. Or for your home, it means you can run all your smart lights and gadgets without sending a single byte of your personal data to some server halfway across the world. And think about a small rural clinic. It could create this super secure, private node for patient data, protecting it from the kinds of ransomware attacks that are constantly going after big centralized databases.
When you get right down to it, this whole device, this entire idea, it all boils down to one simple but really profound question. You can think of the Sovereign Sentry as an argument in a box. An argument that says, if your data truly is your property, then shouldn't you be the one holding the key?